Hello, I'm Robert Timon. I'm the founder of Frame. Welcome to Frame Live, our virtual event format to explore the future of spaces. The pandemic has disrupted our everyday work life. Working from home has become the standard for millions globally. The office is being redefined to accommodate workers connecting with each other. One of the big questions on the agenda of CEOs, HR managers, and designers and architects alike is: how can the workplace accelerate innovation? What are the conditions for creativity? And how can spatial design and furnishings be beneficial to collaboration? These are the questions that I'll discuss today with Jesus Llinares. He's the CEO of Spanish furniture manufacturer Andreu World, our event partner, and Swiss designer Alfredo Häberli. Jesus Llinares works exactly 20 years for Andreu World, a company based in Valencia, Spain. Since 10 years, he is the brand's CEO. He has turned the company around from a crafts-orientated mid-level furniture manufacturer to a design-orientated top-level producer of furnishings. Alfredo Häberli is a Swiss designer based in Zurich who in 30 years has created furniture, lighting, and tableware for brands such as Alias, Itala, Luceplan, Moroso, and Andreu World. He's also designed retail stores and scenographies for an international roster of clients. Jesus, you're preparing for NeoCon in Chicago, beginning of October. What will you be presenting and how?
This is the first show that we are exhibiting till last year in February. Then we are excited about this possibility to have a physical meeting with customers, with designers, and we are going to introduce in Chicago this year in October, beginning of October, the new designs for 2021. We did new introductions. We developed some product with Alfredo Häberli, with Philippe Starr, with Patricia Urquiola. And this is going to be the meeting point this year to start with a little bit more physicality to share our innovation, our new designs with the design community in NeoCon Chicago 2021.
And Alfredo, after 1.5 years of almost no travel and events, you will join Andreu World in Dubai. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh, extremely. I'm totally happy to really have the first exhibition, the first discussion, the first flight abroad. Yes, I really look forward to come back in a kind of normality. But yes, I'm in the meantime quite tense about it.
Well, we've asked Alfredo and Jesus to answer 4 questions by submitting 4 images. And we'll use these images to start a conversation about how spaces and furnishings can fuel creativity and innovation. Are you ready to move to the first question? Okay, so here we are. What do you need to be creative? And I would like to start with Alfredo.
This is the place I spend more time than somewhere else. This is my studio. I need inspiration. I find the inspiration every object in books, in art, in fashion, in food. My studio, it's kind of a Wunderkammer. That means that I have a lot of objects. They give me some intelligence that I can transfer to other objects, to other ideas. I like a lot to sketch. This is my desk. Maybe it's not always so clean, but what you see here clear, it's the laptop. It's the only digital devices I need. It's mails. I mostly work only on mails and communication. But with my assistant, I really go from table to table and I follow them very, very closely. I sketch ideas when I'm traveling business-wise. I on a flow with my ideas. but it's mostly the sketchbook or a piece of paper that I use to start with my ideas.
So to be creative, you need a physical environment, right? You need to be in a space with objects, with furniture, with other objects. Why
Yeah,
is that?
it gives a feeling to me that I need calmness, I need concentration, and of course it's also an empty open space. But at the meantime, it gives me immediately a feeling that I feel like at home, and this is extremely important for me for my feelings because I have to feel well, and that's why also with my assistant I feel like being in a family, coming to my second family, and this is for me extremely important to create ideas, to be creative.
Speaking about home, you want to feel at home in your studio. Can you be creative at home?
Yes, behind that I have a second studio with a lot of books and a lot of objects and more art and my family. Yes, I can. I have to say that because the thoughts are going somewhere else. When I look out of the plane, I look at the beautiful landscape, the clouds, and I just go through project I'm working on or coming from a presentation. Immediately, all these spontaneous ideas just pumped out of my mind. And then in my studio, I translate it to reality. It's just a sketch, but to do at the end a prototype, to go on mock-ups, to work on these first sketches, on these first ideas, I need the studio. Yes, it's my home as well.
So your studio is your second home, but you need it to be creative.
Yes, I can say like that.
Jesus, um, let's have a look at the image that you submitted to us. What are we looking at here?
I think to be creative, you need to have a purpose or a challenge. And then what I show in this first image is the purpose to build, to continuous building a cultural positive story based in real facts around Andreu World. In this case, I show this challenge that was to generate a document of 400 pages that the name is Conversations about Work, talking about the future trends about the workspaces. And then we choose the best designers we are collaborating today, 8 different designers with 8 different models of working in the same profession. They explain us how they work, showing the studios, the places of creation, sharing with us the mission, the people that configure the teams. These are like 8 different stories, success stories, and this document has been for us can be like a kind of reference document on showing how these designers, in this case, I'm talking about Alfredo Häberli, is organizing the team, is generating the creativity, the talent, and is a good document not only for designers and architects, but even for companies in order to know more about this field, not only the design field, but creativity, talent attraction, and this is a little bit an example of a creative process for us. On the other hand, we feel that this is the second image that I sent to you, that sometimes the problems, we can say, or the big challenges push you to create, to be creative. That means sometimes the pressure of something that needs to be solved make you to be more creative, and that's the case of this of the solutions that technically we built together with Alfredo, but with our design team in order to generate the last introduction that is Girosoft. That was a real challenge for us, technically speaking, because we combine our know-how with the booth, that we work with our artisans, our technicians, that is the know-how accumulated of 65 years of our company with other techniques and other technologies. And this has been a beautiful challenge that we are going to share in next NeoCon with the market and with the rest of the design community.
So to be creative, you say you need a purpose, but you also need a real challenge. What made you compile the book? Why did you decide to make it?
The main purpose is try to collect ideas that make these different designers successful in their careers and share that with our public, with our customers, with our followers, with the design community in general. This is a process that make us and give us the chance to learn, to progress in the innovation, in the creativity process inside of the company, and then share this information and this experience from these masters of design with the design community.
So it's your way to give back to the community, to share the insight and the experiences of well-known designers with a broader audience. I think that's a generous gesture of a company like Andreu World making furniture, to speak to these people and to give back to the rest of the world and to inspire them. Thanks. So let's talk a little bit about the phenomenon that cannot be avoided in any talk these days. I don't know how it's in your countries, but here in the Netherlands, it's still the talk of the day. And it has been for the last 1.5 years. And I'm, of course, referring to the pandemic. Its impact has been huge. Alfredo, can you tell us how the pandemic has impacted your way of working?
Yes, I choose these images because from one week to the other, it changed everything. This image, it's touched me a lot because I was on the train, I was traveling a little bit, one flight more, and you see here the train and you see the airport, and it's not believable. It's not manipulated digitally. It was empty like that. And to have these images, what happened? I mean, everything stopped from one week to the other. It was, I don't know, it was like 9/11, something that you had to look twice and three times to believe it. And of course, it was also a big problem. There were a lot of projects going on. We had a lot of novelties that we were not able to show. From one week to the other, we had Zoom meeting, we had webinar, we had terrible digitalization storm. It was something new, of course. I grew up in Argentina and South America. I was used in a way to be extremely flexible. Also as a child, my parents teach me that to be. But still, then I still don't believe it, even if we spent already so many months with this. It's something that shows us, yes, that there is no security anymore in anything. So we have to be more chameleon. We have to be more amphibian animals. We have to be very flexible. And yes, that changed really a lot. Here you see an image because we were bombarded by people, and of course for this Finnish company it was not able to send the crew, so these people were just organized here in Switzerland. But it was new, totally new for us, but at the meantime I see also advantage out of it. I will not travel so much. I will not go to Scandinavian country or to southern countries just for 2 hours of meeting. If it is necessary to see a prototype, to sit on a sofa, to try a chair, yes. Otherwise, we will do it now by Zoom meeting or whatever. And this is also a good moment for me because I was 2-3 days in a week and even more traveling, and now I receive a very calm, very calm.
So do you actually like that change? Is it a change for the better?
Yes, since 30 years, I have my studio, and I was not not so much at home than I did it now. And it was good to have the teenager children at home, teenager, adults, children, and to see them again so intensely, to cook together, to enjoy the garden, etc., etc. I have to say that there is a lot of positive things. By traveling, I also get a lot of ideas, and sometimes I saw that I was just walking around in the forest and, and trying to do a closer trip in a way, but my brains need it. Yeah, so I have to go also out from my studio to get inspiration as well.
So to a degree, you needed to adopt a new way of working, a new way to get inspiration.
Yes.
How's that for you, Jesus? How did the pandemic change your way of working?
Like many companies and many families, the first thing we did was thinking protect our environment and our employees and our teams, and then we put in place measures taking into account the things that start happening initially in Europe, in Italy. Then we start planning a kind of contingency plan at the beginning of March, and then when things started here in Spain, we start protecting our teams and transmitting safety. The second thing we try to help not only our customers by service, but help the community. And then we put 60 people in outside of the certificate in the medical services in Spain, but just we give that max as a gift. We manufacture like 150,000 masks during this period, and this give an additional purpose to our team to continue working and delivering service to our customers, but at the same time helping the community for free, because this was for us a mandatory thing in that moment. And in parallel, what we did is try to adapt to the new situation that that in the entire world, the customers, the market was asking for more health and well-being. Then we take into account in the materials, in the new ideas, offering specific solutions for our own range of product in order to protect, in that case, the customers by using our products. And then we promote the ideas we have in our portfolio of new products and adaptation of our actual staff in order to generate these hybrid spaces, hybrid organizations, because working from home and physical presence was something that was on the table, and everybody was working in that manner. No? In parallel, we push for new materials and new designs in the based more in the circular economy. In this field, we introduced 3 new materials last year, like the thermopolymer bio that was applied to the web launch bio. This is a thermopolymer that is the origin is natural, is from microorganisms. The proof of carbon, no, the carbon 14 proof for this material tell us that this plastic is only 1.5 years old, and at the same time is biodegradable and compostable. That was an introduction we did last year. At the same time, we generate a new textile that comes from recycled plastic, coming from bottles, PET of plastic that were transformed in this fabric that was introduced in Andreu World Textiles, our own portfolio. And we decided to take a radical decision and use all the materials we are having made in thermopolymer, 100% recyclable, 100% recycled. That's a decision we put in place last year in answer to this demand that to be more sustainable in general, because our company, as you know, we were the first company having 100% of our offer, complete offer, range of product in the catalog, FSC pure. That means all the wood that Andreu World is using in the catalog consistently during the last 16 years come from reforested forest, and we audit the chain of custody until the final consumer any place in the world since 2005. That means, in that case, this gives us I think, the responsibility in order to continue being or trying to be a reference in this field. And this is something that last year we pushed or even increased the speed to come to a new scenario, more sustainable and more taking more in consideration the planet, because this is coherent with our philosophy. And the last thing in this spirit of service is that we generate a document last year that we share with the design community as well in training sessions and different online design talks with Alfredo Häberli as well participating, that was designed to reconnect. And in this document, we asked to these 8 different designers that participate in this new book, the Dialogues of Work, telling us how they see the future after the pandemic, and during and after the pandemic. And then this was a nice experience because we learn a lot, we apply internally in our processes, management processes and design processes, and then we share that with the design community, and was a nice exercise.
So what was your biggest learning from that last exercise that you did?
And the biggest learning is really just confirm that the people is the center of everything in the companies and in general, and the humanistic point of view is something that I think I feel that in our philosophies companies is relevant, but now I think it's for everybody. No, that means the increase of sensibility about the human attitude and the responsibility around the planet and around the environment is something that was a conclusion of this situation. Taking care more about not only ourselves, but about the rest of the society and the rest of the world.
Well, we've been talking about innovation and creativity. Let's go to the next question, which is all about that. What will spaces for innovation and creativity look like, Alfredo?
Yes, this was weeks I spent in the mountains by just reading emails, trying to communicate. I was exactly on this day when I took this picture, I was having with Andreu World a meeting, Zoom meeting, and then I turned the laptop to show where I was, and it was quite heavy for them because we in Switzerland were all the time we were able to go out of the house and to spend time in the nature. So we were a lucky country, I believe. But I think this could be a creative new space. I mean, I also maybe the next image is I think it's my sketchbook. Yes, the sentence here stays: "It's intuition, the better vision." I don't need more. In general, I think it will be a symbiosis from both. I mean, analog and digital. And in general speaking, I think that we people need people, not only me because I'm Latin oriented, but like Jesus told before, I think the most important thing is the interaction in between the people. And of course, we opened the spaces so much in the last 20 years or more. And at the meantime, we realize at home, but also before in the office, that we need calm moments, but not only for do a Zoom meeting, but also for yourself. Of course, by looking to the images, I don't know how you call it, this co-working spaces, and young new spaces with a lot of post-it, with lounges, with yeah, it looks for me like funny, like more creative than it is really. But of course, if people look at the images of my studio, then maybe they think the same. It's crazy. He's not able to concentrate himself in such a chaos and such a Wunderkammer. So I think what I clearly know it's that the spaces will have to be flexible. Flexible in the way of that we have maybe to be able to change the architecture, to change the room, the space in between 2, 3, 5 years. So this is important. The spaces will not long be, how do you say, definitive. Huh? So I think this is something that I realize. Otherwise, we will have some changes. I don't want to talk about the plexi wall in between the people and all that. We will not go back to the 70s. It will not be. But again, if we talk like that, we talk about Central Europe. If you go to Asia, I was, I don't know, first time in Japan for 20 years, they had 50 centimeters by 70 or 80, and that was the working table. So, and I'm pretty sure they still have the same. So we have to, I'm more interested in, should we work less? I mean, now we reduce the velocity of the fairs by the pandemic. Since 10 years, I'm saying, why don't we do a furniture fair all 2 years? At the meantime, now I'm thinking, okay, if everybody is working less, say 20% less, could we then create more work for other people? No. So these are more the thoughts I'm working on. But of course, also with Andreu World, we are working on a new concept, new furniture that will be ready in 2 years, something like that, which takes care on all this movement and all this flexibility and all this feeling at home, being in the office or vice versa. So being at home, but feeling that you are working for some company. So it's the other way around. How do I know that at home now? How do I know that I'm working and I have to stop a certain amount of hours and take the free time because I'm at home? I don't want to iron. I don't want to do the work. So I think these are thematic that we work all together. Everybody is involved in these thoughts. But I cannot give you an answer clear. So,
No, but you predict more flexibility in regard of spaces, and
yes,
you also foresee a new generation of furniture, so to say. And what that
yes,
exactly will look like, you don't know, but you foresee that this will be coming.
yes. I do know how it looked like, but I don't have an
You already
image to
designed
show.
it.
We are not there, but I know how it will
So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, I can. I mean, by looking how we worked at the dining table last year, everybody was more or less confronted by that. It's like you have you open your laptop, you install your computer, but maybe after when you have lunch or you have dinner, you have to remove it again from your dining table. So how can we do that in a very comfortable way? How can I open a desk or a table, I would say, just a table, to say now it's office time. And at the meantime, to close it, and you don't want to see it after a certain time of hours that you worked at home. And it reminds you all the time, hey, you should work. Look at that. That's your space, your office space at home. So these are hybrids and things that that it will create a new image in a way, and we are working exactly on that.
Looking forward to that.
I didn't tell too much, eh, Jesus?
It has been very, very, very balanced and very political.
Good. Let's go back to the question and have a look at and listen to Jesus' answers. The question was, what will spaces for innovation and creativity look like?
I think the spaces are going to have, from one side, technology, because to support the homework and remote collaborative task that is going to be to grow now, obviously, in the next future, it's needed, the technology. But at the same time, we are going to have spaces more human. This need to share with colleagues, partners, customers, and space for the people is something that is going to impact in these new spaces in the future. And a combination of technology, because it's needed to the present and to the next future, and more importance of the people, the human part. On the other hand, I totally agree, that the spaces are going to be versatile in the meaning of gather, coffee breaks, informal conversations, formal conversations. That means we need spaces flexible for the individual work that is needed, and private work, and for the collaborative that obviously is mandatory today, and then combining in that case open spaces with closed spaces in order to generate or to increase productivity. That is, at the end, the reason to organize everything in that direction is because it's a question of efficiency, and finally a question of productivity. At the same time, we see that there are trends accelerated during this period. Like, for example, I think that the plans for the life in general is going to be more present, in the workspaces, because this is good for the people, it's for the well-being, for the ambience. At the same time, good design with attractive proposals, durable and sustainable furniture. It's important as well, because can help to this health and to the ambience. Another trend that is more clear than ever now, I think, is that the spaces are going to be a little bit more democratic in the meaning of less private office, and could be a little bit less hierarchy, in the meaning of the purpose or the objectives are others. As I mentioned before, flexibility, gather, collaborate, instead showing in the office the chart, the official hierarchy of the company. These are things that has been trends accelerated because of the pandemic, and we are going to see that in the next future more and more. And this is going to affect, obviously, the furniture design.
So would you say that this acceleration of trends is a blessing for companies like Andreu World?
No, the acceleration of trends is because realistically, I think the pandemic is, from my point of view, is not changing the world, but is accelerating big trends that we see. Because everything that I mentioned to you, technology, the people in the center, the human, the collaborative spaces, the flexibility, the versatility, more democratic, all of this is something that exists, the biophilia. But now is like we are doing a way that probably is going to take 5 or 7 years, I don't know, in a couple of years. That means this is my perception.
What does that mean for your company? I mean, that means that your company needs to accelerate as well and be more innovative in a very short time. And maybe you found in that way a stronger purpose, or even a new purpose.
For us has been interesting because it confirmed in some cases our strategy, and then what we did is we founded this period like a shortcut in order to arrive earlier to the position that we are looking. This is more from the brand point of view, my perception. On the other hand, from the principles and values, this confirmed our philosophy and culture in the meaning of sustainability, people in the center, innovation, this kind of values that our company has has been now critical in order to adapt to the new situation. Then probably from our point of view, this has been a small advantage that help us probably to adapt earlier than could be other companies. And finally, from our proposal point of view, obviously, because we like to learn and we learn every day, then we open our eyes more than ever and we listen from masters, as I mentioned to you in this publication that we are speaking today, Dialogues About Work, in the Design for Reconnected. It was a kind of a questionnaire that we asked for leaders, opinion leaders in the design community to learn about this situation. And this confirmed two things. On one side, that probably we are in a good position because the kind of furniture that we are building, taking into account the new needs of the workspaces, and on the other hand, give us the confirmation that we need to continue working hard in order to become a company into the circular economy that we put 2025 as a deadline in all our processes. In example, in the energy, you know that we reuse all the everything that we are using in the wooden technology. Even we transform the rest of the wood that we are not using in our manufacturing process for us with in energy, and we are now sourcing all the energy from renewable sources in order to cover this plan that we trace until 2025 in order to be one of the first companies, if possible, having circular economy in everything we are designing and working inside of our manufacturing plants.
That's a fantastic goal. I'm sure that Alfredo will help you achieve it. And talking about both of you, I mean, both of you, you stress the importance of people. Jesus, you say that we are entering an era. Well, it's not the right way to phrase it, but that people have become more at the center of what we are doing. And Alfredo, you stress the fact that in order to be creative, in order to be innovative, you need to work with other people. So both of you are very people orientated. Let's talk about the relationship between people, in this regard, between a client and a designer. What are the key conditions for such a relationship to work?
I can tell one thing is Andreu World as a company must have the people in the center for one special reason, because we combine technology in all our processes, not only in manufacturing, but in sales and in other parts of the company. And then we combine that with artisan work and craftsmanship. Then we have masters, artisans in working with wood and cabinet makers or working with upholstery. And we try to accumulate this know-how and grow this know-how generation by generation. Then for us, this is a value, an asset of our company. And the only way that a company like Andreu World can manage is putting in the center people, because really the impact in the how we develop and how we manufacture and produce a product, quality, service, in everything is 100% the people. And then for us it's mandatory. On the other hand, we organize our company taking into account the Japanese techniques like the lean manufacturing that has the same philosophy. Then it's a combination of cultural things for us, our philosophy, and a common sense business practical.
But let's go back to the client-designer relationship. Now I want to go back to Alfredo. What does this image represent to you?
I chose this image with the stabile, which is a mobile which stands on feet, which is the fundament. But more important, it's the small pieces that are in balance. And I think it's nice to have clients where you have loyalty, where you have trust, where you have a challenge and honesty, professionalism, but also an appreciation for each other. And all this, I see like a mobile which always is in movement, and it's also joyful. That's why I choose this image to show that in this way. I always say I only work with people I like. It sounds quite arrogant and it's a heavy statement, but it's the only way I can work, and that's why something which in the last year was sad for my career, because a lot of companies just are not run by the owners or are not run by the families or the one that founded. It's more in anonymous investment groups where I cannot deal with, because the stabile, the mobile, it's not in balance anymore. It's more about marketing, it's more about money, it's more about what do the other, so let's do the same. That's not the way I work. So my mobile has some ingredients, some elements that are flying and moving around, and I define together with my clients that at the end becomes friends. And that's the next image I choose. Yes, these are two very, very known cyclists from the 50s in Switzerland. They were competitors, both. But at the meantime, they challenged each other and they became friends. I mean, we know this at the moment with Nadal and Federer. So for me, Jesus is the same. He's not a competitor. He's the CEO of the company I'm working with. But we became friends, but we challenge each other, and everybody is sportive for the height we want to jump. I have to tell an anecdote. I hope we have space for that. During the pandemic, I figure out that Jesus is writing me mails on Sunday. So then we had a Zoom meeting. I think it was on Monday then. And I asked him, Jesus, why are you always writing on Sunday? And he said, oh, a little bit shy, a little bit so, very decent. So he said, if you ask me so directly, I have to say, during the week, I really have a hard week and a tough moment. And the weekends are for friends. And I think that was the most nicest sentence I heard during the pandemic.
How was that for you, Jesus?
The relationship with Alfredo, as you can see, it's easy, because it's to build confidence with him it's easy, because the professionalism that he shows is 100%, and the commitment with the project is 100%, and the experience that he has about the companies, how the companies are working with the limitation restrictions. It's big, and then this, I think, make easy for us to work together with him. Not only myself, but the team that is working, the design manager Sergio, the team, the product managers, the different prototype people. Alfredo it's accessible, it's open-minded, and as he mentioned in the book, he has a democratic understanding of his life and his relationships, and this is good to build this confidence and to work together. On the other hand, we have two things in common, Alfredo and Andreu World and ourselves, that is the ethic. For us, the ethic is a basement in business. It's mandatory for us. We don't understand the business without ethic, because then it's other thing that we are not interested with. And Alfredo the same. And this is a common point of view, very, very important. And last thing that is a little bit related with everything that we are speaking during today's conversation is the human relationship. We mentioned in our philosophy that when we speak about about the strength of our company, and when we speak about the service, that means human relationships between us and between customers and partners, and treat them as we want to be treated. That means this is a basic sentence, but this humanity that Alfredo transmits is I think is helping us to working together in these beautiful and challenging projects that, by the way, we are working in the third project that Alfredo commented a little bit, that this is something that we start discussing during the pandemic, because in April 2020, this Monday that Alfredo is telling you that we have this video conference, we decide to start exploring in order to generate a more specific brief in 1 month. We did it in May in order to start working in a new concept of furniture that is going to complete our solutions and our portfolio to the market in the right direction, taking into account what we were listening at that moment, and what we were seeing in the market, no? And this is what make us easy to work together, because he understood immediately our needs, our ideas. He took the challenge as his own challenge, and then the process is quite interesting, because it's something very new for us, and I'm sure that it's going to be a nice introduction next year.
Let's talk about one specific project that you collaborated on over the past year, and that is the expansion of the Girosoft collection. So maybe you can use that project as an example of how both of you collaborate. So how does a project like that begin? What does the brief look like, and what does the collaboration look like?
The initial idea of this project came from specific needs in a couple of projects that our company was working with end customers, and with a group of architects and designers. And then we define specifically the briefing, and after that we start talking to Alfredo in order to build the solution. The solution was kind of modularity that should be efficient, because we need to do something easy to configure, but cost effective, and with enough personality in order to solve not only the needs from the market, but at the same time use the characteristics, the strength Andreu World. In that case, the answer that Alfredo Häberli gave us was this kind of base, this sled base made in solid wood and solid ash. That is a beautiful one, because it's curved. It's done like it's cute. It's really a nice piece, but solid and strong enough in order to maintain all this sofa. And what we achieve with that, it's a modularity that gives us a versatile and flexible soft seating solution for different spaces, giving an extra comfort, because this is something that we have in mind at the beginning, doing something really soft, not only in the name Girosoft, but in the real electron of the foam and the combination of the foam in this sofa. That this has been an affordable solution, competitive, but at the same time comfortable, including technology. That means this efficient, versatile solution, it's taking into account like if we are speaking about a light, no? It's we use kind of techniques of can be used in lighting, or can be used even in conference table, because we have the hard weighting giving the protection, electrically speaking, from any kind of fire or any kind of safety risk by the hardware protection inside of the structure. And then we have the possibility to connect to any place around the sofa, in order to have connectivity in a table that can be, it's a kind of satellite auxiliary table that you can place in any position in the sofa. And that's another technological addition to the soft seating solution that give more possibilities to the final consumer, and this is giving us the chance to have a success in this marketing direction.
Alfredo, what was the most challenging moment for you in this project? The most challenging moment with regard to your relationship with your friend, Jesus?
To give a simple sign to the design. So in this case, Giro soft, Giro in Italian means like a round, Giro d'Italia, a curve in a racetrack. And that was the idea exactly, to start from the back, from the high back, and coming down to the seating. That's one gestic. And the other, I have to say, it's really the ash skit in solid wood, because I wanted to do something architectonic in a way that stays in the big spaces or small, whatever, but it looks simple. And I think to receive big comfort, simplicity in the design, one gesture, reduction in a way, that's the most difficult thing to get. But this project also shows how important it is to visit the company, to see the people, because the invisible design, it's the comfort. And we will not be able to sell a sofa through an online computer, we need to sit on it. You have to feel it. Behind the development, it's done invisible, and we tested and we worked on the prototype several times until we received the level we wanted to reach. And this is only in real possible.
Well, with an eye on the time, I'm afraid we need to round up this conversation. Alfredo and Jesus, thank you very much for being with us today and to speak about your insights, your vision of spaces for innovation. You made clear that they are and have been and will be all about human relationships. These spaces need to be people-centric more than ever before. And Jesus, you made clear that these spaces also need to become more circular, more biophilic. And Alfredo, you have a studio that is like your home, but to be really innovative, you can't be at home. You need to be in your studio or visit a client. Thank you very much for being with us today. Alfredo and Jesus, thank you very much for watching Frame Live. We hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chao,
Okay.
adiós, Jesus. Adiós.
Hasta pronto.
Adiós.
Muchas gracias.